Should you play a Barbarian in Diablo 4? I played a lot of Diablo 4 beta during the early access weekend and would like to help you choose the right class, focusing on Barbarian, with sharing my impressions with you in this video. Are you a beginner of Diablo 4 and looking for an advice on a class that you should play? Well, hopefully this will be the first video in the very short series that will help you. So, what can you expect from a Barbarian beyond the rather obvious, yes, Hulk smash writing on the wall? Barbarian is the tank of the group, expect for it, and the destructive solo play brute force some of us enjoy the most when playing games such as Diablo or World of Warcraft. If you play World of Warcraft currently, then I can tell you that by default Diablo Barbarian feels a lot like World of Warcraft's Fury Warrior, with one or two big weapons they use to destroy the enemies. Duh. Diablo offers a blend of what you'd expect in WoW as arms and Fury specs kinda put together, leaning, in my mind, towards Fury. In Diablo, Barbarian specializes and changes their playstyle based on the main ability or a couple of abilities of choice. And any synergies, obviously, they could get out of those abilities, such as if you've picked what effectively is a lounging, kind of charge strike if you like, as your very first rage building ability, it would work very well to cover the distance to the enemy, and then perhaps you'd benefit from using something like Whirlwind to hit the whole group and have a lot of fun in the process. Or alternatively, you might choose Flay as your initial rage builder that bleeds the enemies and makes them vulnerable, and then adds some rend to it, slashing the whole group of enemies for even more massive bleed damage. What's the difference between these two starter build directions, so to speak? Well, the first one moves around quicker and relies on direct damage dealt to the enemies, often dispatching of smaller groups much quicker and in more visually enjoyable way, arguably, of course. While the second build moves a bit slower but bleeds everything and often could just keep running while the already injured enemies simply die by being left behind. Also, the bleed build offers some much smoother experience in my view with dungeon bosses and generally thicker, harder enemies, as those very rarely allow you to just stand and bang, so to speak, and you kinda need to run away from them and stay on the move, not to get smashed. So the first build does virtually no damage under those conditions, while the bleed one remains effective. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a flavor. Of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg of what a Barbarian in Diablo really is. But to summarize, if you enjoy a highly impactful, right in the middle of the action, highly visceral melee range Hulk smash playstyle with variety of builds where you can either whirlwind around or stomp the ground and send seismic waves at your enemies, or slash and bleed everything while you become virtually invulnerable for a brief periods of time, you might like the Barbarian. On the flip side, I found that you have to work a lot harder as a Barbarian to achieve your goals, as among other things, you need to constantly chase targets, and yes, they try to run around from you, they try to gain distance around you, around the battlefield, rather than, let's say, be able to catch them with an arrow or a certain beam of fire, yeah, on the other side of the screen. I hope this video was a little bit helpful and helps you as a beginner of Diablo 4 make your decisions. Please give it a like so that more fellow Diablo 4 beginners can see it, and tune into the next video where we will compare Barbarian to Rogue Marksman, which is a different kettle of fish altogether. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.